for about the last minute because I hit go on OBS and not on YouTube. But hello. This is a weird message to see. Screenshot that and send it somewhere later. Given that I'm about to enter my third quest or fourth quest of Elder, and thus this should have already been locked a few days ago. I don't know. If it updated, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, 3 more quests. I took stock of dangerous defenders in here, trying to make sure I have somebody for Hyperion so I don't just do that forever. The main thing to call out. But let's go. Hey, Cam, how's it going, man? Hey, Laser. Well, that was dumb. My fingers just kind of spammed there. Alright, come here. Hey, Klops, how's it going? Do I have any advice for you as a worker in business who has a lot to do and gets super overwhelmed with all the different tasks? Ooh. Let me think. Because I have to admit, I might not be the expert in this. Both because I sometimes handle my ADHD better than other times, but also because while I definitely do get overwhelmed and do push myself past the point where I probably should, um, I also do have a work environment that is very healthy, relatively speaking, right? Like, I don't think it is saying anything too crazy or sensitive to say that, like, we're a business. We're under pressures that I would rather we not be under. There are sometimes disagreements between the teams. It's not a perfect workplace, but I've also had my manager like encourage me to just take a day because it's been a while, right? I've had like people check in after rough days and are like, "Hey, do you have any time off coming up? Like that's probably going to be good for you." When I took on the Rebirth Pool reworks, which I did technically have time for. I did have a little bit of a gap in my schedule, but it was quite accelerated relative to what we normally do. Um, I got a fair amount of flack from both my manager and our project manager because both of them were like, "Do you actually have time to do this without kicking yourself?" And I did, but then when, in the post-mortem, I said, like, you know what? I did underestimate just how many bugs there would be on these old characters, and I didn't properly keep all that in mind. They kind of, like, shook me by the shoulders a little bit and said, I told you so. Like, so I do have a lot of support, right? Um, but with that caveat, coming from music to this corporate environment, there were some major adjustments for me. Um, I, if what Club suggested works for you, then do that. I do like having to-do lists, right? And I try and rank them in priority. I do find Jira helpful in that to some extent. Giant asterisk. I won't dig into that. If you've worked with Jira, you understand what I'm talking about. But like Microsoft has a very basic to-do list app in their store that I downloaded pretty early on in starting work, and I would just add things to it. I honestly have gotten away from it because I've developed other systems around that. But that's pretty big. Um, Having some way to track what you need to do soon. If you are working in some kind of computer context and you find yourself having a lot of tabs open, then naming your windows, in my opinion, is an absolute must, right? Like, if every time you alt tab, you have to go, okay, which one is, and this, okay, I see that screen, but then the tab I'm looking for, was it attached to that one or this one? Did I have multiples of that tab open? No, throw all that away. Like literally when I'm working, I have one set of windows called design docs, one set of windows called coding, basically, and one called home. And that's not all that's in those, but like that organization saves me minutes and minutes and minutes every day. I forgot to say part of the main thing that I disagree with Klobs on is I don't like blocking out time, because if I have to, I don't like blocking out specific amounts of time. Because if I have to block out specific amounts of time to certain tasks, then I have to estimate how long those tasks will take me, and that stresses the hell out of me. So I don't like doing that personally. That's why I focus on just having the list and stack ranking it. Anything you can break up is important. Anywhere you are communicating, where you can do mark as read or mark as unread, set reminder, schedule for later, do whatever you can so that all of the sundries and communications surrounding your actual work can be responsibly paused so you can focus, right? You need some kind of system for that so that you can respond to some of your coworkers and not hold them up too much. Like to explain this, my instinct, if I don't actively challenge it, is to just not check messages because I'm worried I won't have the bandwidth to respond to those messages, and then the messages pile up. That's bad. um, and so the way that you deal with that is, okay, well, then you respond to the messages so they don't pile up. Or sorry, you click on the messages and read them so they don't pile up. But sometimes you don't have the bandwidth to respond to that right now. And so you need to use tools like mark unread or set as reminder, remind me later. You need to do little things so that you can continue to reorganize and triage what you need to do without getting paralyzed. Um, Yeah, calendars are important. Block out time just to work on your calendar, even if you don't have meetings. That can be helpful. Um, if your company allows you to make up time, I find that sometimes just like me stepping outside for 20 minutes and then working 20 minutes later is huge. So just little things like that. If you work from home, maybe you don't. Oh, your job is remote. Okay. Um, One thing I would recommend, I'm not great about this anymore. I've gone up and down, but yeah, I literally need to just move the stuff back into my room for this. If you're waiting for a data push to go out, if you're waiting for a save to go through, if you're waiting for something to compile, anytime you have part of a job that you might end up waiting for, I like to get in like a couple push-ups. That is mostly aspirational because, like I said, I'm not great about it. But if you can do that for yourself, you will feel much better. Yes, I also, it's downstairs right now because today isn't a work day, but I should have brought it up. But I always have a pitcher next to my desk. Hey, TC. Um, yeah, I always have a pint glass on my desk, and I have a. Did I say Jira? I meant Brita. Brita. That's the one. I went. I meant Jura, Brita, whatever. Jura's for coffee. But I always have a Brita pitcher next to my desk so that I can keep that glass of water filled. You will go to the bathroom more often. You might need to leave meetings 5 minutes early so that you can go to the bathroom. That is fine. Do that for yourself. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and anywhere you can fit in activity, do. I have a standing desk and a walking pad. That is not necessary, but if you're there for a while, that's pretty important too, because part of being productive and focused is being healthy. And so if you're not finding time to take care of yourself, you need to put it in somewhere. And now I'm going to catch up on chat because I think I've been yapping for long enough. I see other people have said some good stuff. One other thing on circling back to the naming Windows thing, I also bought a mouse with an extra button. That's like, the coldest take of all time. But one of those buttons for me is mapped to Alt Tab. Another one is mapped to screenshots, and like I use those all the time. Like there's left click, there's right click, and there's Alt Tab. Those are my three primary buttons, and that plus the named windows just allows me to spend less time going, where did I put that? Big agree with Yoria. Physical pen on paper is very important. I don't do it every day, but I always have a notebook and a pen next to me, like somewhere on my desk, because if I need to just start writing something, that's the best, right? I find that for the way my brain works, if I'm trying to sketch something, if I'm trying to write things down, if I open up a doc and start writing there, then I immediately start worrying about formatting. And like note-taking apps are not better. I'm like, where do I put it? How do I set up the text box? No, screw all of that. Pick up the notebook and start writing, right? Like it can be bulleted lists, there can be notes on the margins. You don't have to think about any of the formatting because you just write it where you want it to go. I find just removing that tiny little thing that I need to worry about makes me much more efficient and flexible while I'm trying to brainstorm. I'm not familiar with the Eisenhower matrix, but I think I get the gist. And yeah, sometimes you just, oh, that's another thing. On related to sometimes just delete stuff. Um, if you find yourself having too many tabs open, you need to periodically go through them. And I'm not saying like solve the things, delete the things, whatever, but periodically go through them. And if you are not going to get to it in the next 12 hours, bookmark it and close it. Sort your bookmarks. That's fine. Bookmark it, keep it somewhere. You don't have to lose it, but bookmark it and close it. It's good for your computer, it's good for you. Yeah, you probably can't hear the game because I don't have music on and I haven't moved in a little bit. The full calculator on the thumb side. Wow. Yeah, mine only has one, two, three, four, five extra buttons. It's a Elecom trackball. Elecom is a Japanese company because I gave up on Logitech, but I have found I actually like trackballs quite a bit. I even game with them. I'm just more comfortable with them at this point. But yeah, I really like this mouse. You asking me or Matt TC? Because I'm okay. I had a very good weekend. Wait, who's the next one? Was it Guillotine? Yes. Okay, let's bring somebody with physical damage. That's the only thing I need to pay attention to here. Like, you can play around her nonsense, but let's just be... Even he has bleeds. Man, mutants that are physical only. I don't want to burn Gentle this fast. Okay, I guess I'm playing around it. Push to special 2 it is. Fair enough, TZ. Nice, Matt. You're doing better than me in the personal exercise department. I'm trying to get better about it. That's gonna be what I do after this stream. Dang it, I hit the block. It has been 0 frickin' days. I just realized I can't really use the special 2 either because of the frickin' heal reversal. She's low-key very annoying for mutants. We should have brought Toad or somebody. No, because he's too weak against non-skills. This is fine, this works. Oh wait, did she not do that on activation? I thought that one was activation one. I guess it's just the pain link. Okay, well, a little late, but now I guess I can go to the special too. Oh, dang it, and there she goes. I hate that stupid ability. Alright, we'll heal with the next person. I'll be honest, soldier, I'm really tempted to, but no, I shouldn't. All I'll say is that ego is a powerful motivating force. Okay, what's next? Iron Fist. Let's do Apocalypse. That should work. We'll get a little bit of healing. Go from there. Woof. As a fellow 6'3", 135 is not enough. I'm glad you're in a better spot. I'm in that classic spot where I'm actually, like, I'm not necessarily upset with how much I weigh, but I do wish the distribution was better. Because I think I'm like 215 or 220, which is not a problematic weight for 6'3" at all. I just need more of it to be muscle. Sorry, I'm just chuckling because I remembered a certain famous person I'm not going to name, who claimed to have my exact height and weight, when they definitely don't. Enough said on it. Yeah. Pretty similar clubs. Like, I don't care about the number. I want a little bit less around the middle and a little bit more in the chest and arms. That's... That's the goal. I'll get there. Okay, what's next? North Star. Oh, I shouldn't have brought her because she's somewhat crit dependent. That's okay. Nice, Matt. That's cool. Love stuff like that. Not hitting your block. Dang it. That's my fault. I haven't actually had to deal with his special 2 in a little bit. Jerk. Easily, Joey. You can transform that to your magic numerical system. Yeah, I think we're in roughly the same ballpark, TC. It does, Clubs, it does. This is gonna sound like an ad, but I finally tried those true classic teas that were advertised everywhere on YouTube for a while. They actually fit pretty well. Is part of why they fit well the fact that I have the physique of a 30-year-old and not a 22-year-old anymore? Maybe. But you know what? That's okay. Love that, Matt. Consensual and responsible drinking games are a good time. Hey, Jason, how's it going, man? Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know it'll happen. Time comes for us all. It just made me forget my age and recalculation. Yeah, sleep is huge for health, TC. It really is. I hope you're able to find a better spot. Oh, hey, no falter. That's nice. Thank you, Domino. Yeah. Absolutely easy. When she crits, it's glorious. Yeah, they are on the expensive side. Absolutely, Elijah. I will say that my second purchase of them was definitely a luxury because I liked them. My first purchase of them was there was a brief promotion where they were at Costco for like half off. And so I picked up 2 4-packs then. And that was very nice. Also, on the ordering one first, a quick tip for True Classic is that if you're willing to eat the smaller amount of money, they have there's a clearance section on their website for singles, mainly for like seasonal colors that they made too many of. So if you don't mind like the particular shade of green or red or whatever that was the summer seasonal, and you go find one in your size, that can be a nice middle ground. I got a couple of double XLs from the clearance section to use as sleeping shirts because I like having oversized sleeping shirts and their stuff is soft. Oh, brother. There we go. I wonder what Emma looks like literally just if her prowess paused during the opponent's specials. Nothing else. She probably could use a little bit else, but I think that would go a long way. That sucks, Jency. I'm sure I'm right there with you. I wake up all the time, constantly tossing and turning. Fair, Elijah. Dark chocolate is dangerous. It's Florida, we don't have seasons. Yeah, I feel you on that. Partner steals all my big comfy shirts. I specifically offered as I was ordering those, I was like, look, if you want one of my shirts, tell me now, and I'll put another one from the clearance bin in the cart. Yeah, I would generally agree with TC. Like, if you have the fragility up, then sure, the crit damage is probably a waste. But otherwise, you've got great crit rating, you've got great furies. If you want to make the opponent dead faster, crit damage is probably your remaining option. You could maybe go special damage because his specials are big, but I think crit damage is probably going to be better for him because his basics are also big. The important thing to note is that on Stealth Spidey, I think there's a pretty good argument to use a defensive stat focus, whether that's block proficiency or armor or whatever. That's generally going to be better for you. It's really close. Oh yeah, dark chocolate is incredible. Jerk. Oh, I didn't even do the timing thing on the special one this time, did I? That's fine. Oh, and I was early. Wow. That was my fault. Okay, Apocalypse after this again. Maybe I was just early on the first one, too. Not responding directly to that, Elijah. I don't know if that's actually been said, Easy. Yeah, the Apocalypse Sig hate just... Just don't Sig him then. It's a very strong Sig ability. It's just not good in Battlegrounds. That's fine. double checking on a couple war coordination things. Where would I recommend Starkey? Looking at my tech champs and Ironheart. Ironheart definitely works. Solvark is the obvious target for that one, right? Because, like, yes, Armor Pen works for Solvark because he doesn't have a way through that. But you know what's even better is Fizz Pen. Because that'll hit both components of his reverb and any physical damage that you're reflecting from the energy damage that you're taking. So your biggest Stark Spidey on Solvark is probably where you want to start. Maker would be medium nice because there is real damage on his heavies and his special too outside of the plasma. Yondu would be pretty huge because he is Rupture primary now. Somebody like Deathless Vision or one of the other visions for just because most of their damage is actual hits and what you call it, and they don't have super high crit ratings. That would be good. Shocker is a maybe because he already messes with the armor. Like he already messes so much with the damage reduction formula that I don't know that you would need it on him. There's an argument. Prowler is pretty big with all of his ruptures. That sounds like a really good candidate for the Fizz Pen. Sam, similar. Basically all of his damage is physical. Iron Man's primarily physical and has armor breaks, so it's probably not going to matter, but if he's running into physical resistance, then maybe it helps. I would consider that not a primary target. And then, of course, Lady Deathstrike for her ruptures. Yes, Joey. I am absolutely calling it Fizzpen and only Fizzpen. Thank you. Crit, please. Oh, did crit. Nice. Dust is so fun when you have room for a real cash out. Show me the champion. Okay. Like, I can't even tell who it is. Right, this is a pretty good spot for Jean. That should heal us up. Yeah, and then Gentle lines up perfectly for Electra, and then Wolverine is a nothing. You're probably right, Elijah, but I legitimately do not know. We're putting that on the pile of things that I only sometimes listen to live ops talk about. Some nice big yellow numbers. It's Onslaught. Oh, right, Hercules. Okay, do I have somebody with extra ability accuracy for this jerk? Technically, yes. Although I am facing Biohazard with North Star, so this probably wasn't all that smart. Okay, we'll get to the special 3 with heavies. Give me willpower. Thank you. We go. Excuse me. If I go much longer, I'm probably gonna actually, yeah, just after I take this boss, I'm gonna run downstairs and grab that Brita picture I was talking about earlier. Okay. You know, Nefari is the correct option, but High Evolutionary is Rupture immune. I could play. Yeah, let's use the rank 4. Just cuz. Ah, didn't quite play around throwing the special on there. It is going fine. Could have been a little faster with the detonations, but honestly, he's just borderline unkillable there. So that works. Okay, I will be right back. I'm gonna grab some water. I'm so bad about forgetting the I'll be back screen. My bad. But also I lied. I made espresso as well. But thank you all for waiting. I'm back. Werewolf is a bit of a puppy without those ruptures? Absolutely. Okay. Lo and behold, stacking its bundles. I'll have to take a look at those. Because I do want some of these upcoming ones. Okay. Frank doesn't really matter. I remember using, yeah, North Star was fantastic for him. And then everything else here is, okay, science. So save anti-miss for Strife. Save somebody who really likes heavy attacks for Viv. I think my Sandman's rank 2. That'd be fine. Shocker, Nimrod. This is definitely going to be one of the more annoying ones, isn't it? But that's okay. I've got good science characters. Alright, let's start simple. Is the weakness really only at high rock stacks? Jeez. I feel like that doesn't need to be conditional. That was my fault. I'm waiting out that heal block, thank you. Alright, should I have paid more attention to the fact that I only do damage while I have a non-dot on the opponent? Yes, but we'll be okay. Okay. What was I looking at? Oh, right. Bleezy's question about mutants that want high sig. If you want to use Captain Britain as a defender, it's pretty important for her. Cyclops gets a decent boost, but I wouldn't put him up there. If you want to use Dazzler's Pursuit, she needs high sig. That's one of the best. Dust ramps a bit better and is a better defender. Gentle rewards high sig. It's kind of subtle going both ways, but the block penetration is real. Excuse me. The reduced recoil is real, and the power efficiency while unstoppable is actually my favorite part of it. Gene rewards high sig very well because you hold on to neuros better. Yeah, Onslaught does more damage. That's nice. North Star gets mainly the physical resist, right? Oh, and hits reduce block pen. I forgot about that. Okay, North Stars is better than I remembered. Yeah, it's a smaller group, but there are definitely mutants that reward it. If you like Sauron, his Sig is actually very good now because it's a flat increase to the potency. That didn't used to be the case. What do I want to use for Shocker? It's a little bit early for Joe, but he would be good at everything he needs there, so I'll do it. When you try, you always lose all your progress. Okay, that I can no longer help you with. You'll need to go to support for that, Jorge. But there shouldn't be any conflict between them. My game center basically just logs me into my Kabam account. I've never had that issue. Excuse me. That was dumb on my part. Bye-bye. Love Joe. Yeah, no problem. I'm sorry you're running into some weirdness there. I hadn't heard of that one yet. Excuse me. I don't really need anyone in particular here, so I'll go punk just cause. Oh, you know what? Okay. This is the smallest burst I've ever seen. No! No! Odin's snaplights are some of the worst. Okay. That hurt, but also... I'm gonna go poke. What's the node called? Okay. So, yeah, contagion, blah, blah, blah. 30% chance. I can't believe it's only 30. But what we're looking at is academic constitution. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm just typing a Slack real quick. Um... I'll say what I'm typing in a second, because I know this is not great television, but let me just get the thought down. Okay, so I think people are overstating how much you need a poison immune for this particular, right? But the thing that I want to um the thing I want to bring up is that we have the ability now to make it so that basically we can directly edit the amount of regen rate that poison messes with. And so my thought was that, like, vexing constitution, or whatever it is, academic constitution, that's the one, already reduces the damage you take from poison. But the reason I think it still feels not great on Elder difficulty is because the poison still reduces your regen rate. If that node, which is only ever used to make science characters more able to take poison, also removed the regen rate reduction, I think things would be pretty healthy here. Now, on that note, I have to try and heal up with Nefaria. Ooh, probably not against Nimrod. That sounds rough. What do I want to use against Nimrod? Probably just Overseer. Kill him with fire. All I'll say is that I'm glad you don't get charged rent to live in somebody else's head. Hey, Swarley, how's it going? I was so ready for that light attack, except that clearly I wasn't. Apps are so frustrating. Alright. Hey, Floyd. Yeah, you have to keep the poison stacks low, absolutely. But I think the fact that it happens even during specials just means that, like, the poison healing reduction should also come down. Man, maybe I shouldn't use Joe early. No, Nefaria should be good here. We could also go ahead and cash in on I-Bomb, because he'll heal more than most. Probably just because my Ant-Man relics were busy, Jason, and I felt like she didn't really need the extra, but I don't remember consciously thinking about that. I probably do need to do another pass on my science relics, honestly. But thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. Yeah, like, I think Ant-Man is probably the better pairing. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone straight to Special 2. Yeah, I think Ant-Man's the better pairing, but, there are characters where, like, that taunt and everything that it gives you is really important to how they feel, because the tuning on their power stings is a little more exact. I don't really feel that way with her. Whoops. I needed one more hit to get to the special one there. Miscalculated. Whoa! How did that hit me, ma'am? No, just back away. Healing, healing, healing. Cool. But yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing is that, like, yes, she probably gets the most damage out of the Ant-Man relic, but damage is not really what she needs, and there are other characters where the tuning on their power stings and their damage do need a little bit more. Like, Spider-Ham is an example of somebody who doesn't need the damage, but his power stings are generally shorter. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. But I'm not going to pretend that that's, like, the way it needs to be. Okay, who's next? Sauron. Okay, so another anti-Nefaria. This is cruel. I'm gonna need a revive in here somewhere. Whatever. I literally have expiring health potions. Let me just throw a couple on. Oh, Frankencastle's North Star all the way. If you don't have North Star, I think Dust would also be very good. Yeah, but I think you want a slow passive or some kind of crit. We doing? I mean, the relics are for different people, Arun. There's not really like a single best. Thor is very, very strong for anyone who can maximize it, but that doesn't mean it's the relic that you should be putting on every cosmic. Okay, read for this one. Yeah, Chi makes a ton of sense. Hey, Leroy, how's it going? That one was my fault. That was also stupid. Okay. Okay, there we go. Back off, Victor. He's like, what do you mean back off? You're slow playing. Isn't this what you wanted? Dang it. Alright. Alright, I should be doing a better job of pushing into the special too. Okay. Star-Lord is a good chance to heal, so let's bring in Nefaria. Does the Tyrannox relic look like Santa, or is it just me? I definitely had not made that connection. There's probably something there. Because the other thing about the contagion node is it says makes contact, but it's clearly just looking for a collision. So it's triggering on beam attacks and such, which makes it significantly more dangerous than I think is probably intended. What was I looking at? Oh, yeah. I was going to check to see if they responded to my Slack, but... Okay, I got it. It's probably because most of the quest designers are out. Someone who's 6'3", 235 was getting a good chuckle from the shirts conversation. Yeah. Okay, good. Hey, John. Happy Thanksgiving indeed. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day to the rest of us. Yeah, I've heard Siphon went pretty well. Yeah, I mean, I've said for a while now, Sam is so close to great, but a lot of that close is he needs to do like 15% more damage. Who am I looking at next? Proxima. Okay. Yeah, Gladiator's dupe is a nice piece of utility. Oops, I didn't even check to change his stat focus. But yeah, he doesn't need him to kind of do the basics of Gladiator. Woo! I thought I was dead from that lag spike. Would have been cool if you crit. Alright. Nah, I wouldn't want that, TC. That, for a number of reasons, but I don't think that would be the the right call. You know, actually, I'm just going to use read here again. Yeah, like the biggest issue with the poison is that it's difficult to farm it for willpower because if you block a hit, you're probably losing more than you're gaining. If you parry your dex, it goes away. Ah, prey on the weak. I was like, where is the reversal coming from? Never mind, that would be it. Yeah, no, I didn't attach too much to it, TC, don't worry. I do think there are simple answers. No, I don't think Sam was meant more as a defender. I mean, I wasn't on the team at the time, so I can't say for sure. But I think it was more just Sam has so much utility, and the payouts for his damage can be good that they didn't want to overtune him, right? Especially because his utility feels less unique these days with time having passed, but it was very strong and very unique on release. And I actually think that for a while on release, he was mostly underrated and people didn't know how to use him, and he was a lot closer to viable damage. But he kind of had the, like the Killmonger problem that I've talked about before, where if people didn't know how to use him, they just assumed he was the problem. As time has gone on and as his utility has gotten less unique and his damage has generally crept up, he legitimately does not do enough by a significant margin. But like, I think that's really it, is that he was just slightly undertuned. And now he's significantly undertuned. But like there's a lot of levers you could pull on his kit, right? I legitimately think that at this point, just juicing his base attack is the place where you should start, right? Because there are already attack increases in his kit. Um, Increasing base attack will boost them, etc., etc. It allows his Sig to shine because it boosts attack rating as well. Excuse me. The 30% chance to gain an armor up is fine. The armor ups could probably last a little longer. Just run through this real quick. I think the Patriot synergy should just be in his base kit so that you have that guaranteed way to get a Bulwark as long as you're playing skillfully. I think that the physical vulnerabilities should last longer. 14 seconds is quite short for an effect on a special one. I understand they're paused while locked on, but locked on itself is inherently tuned relatively tightly because of how good it is. So I think just making those like 18 seconds is probably totally fair. Everything about the special 2 is fine, except that armor ups should be paused during Sam's specials, or at least during the special 2. Because going into the special 2 with like 8 armors and losing 3 of them before the cash out is a kind of pain that just isn't necessary. The ruptures are fine, the instant ruptures are fine, the special 3 is fine. Yeah, 8 seconds and pausing for half a second on a hit is fine. That should be extended to strikers, though, to match the way that Photon's regen works. And then the one other thing that would probably be nice that I would want to look at is if you want to use him for a bleed node, you currently can't cash out. You can't use the special 2 or the special 3 without losing your armor ups. There's probably a way to address that. But I barely touched on mechanics. Like, the kit is very good. It just needs a little bit of a touch-up. The bounty thing is being looked at. That's all I'm going to say there. But yeah, it's on the radar. Yeah, I'm probably just going to need to flat out heal here again at some point. Is what it is. Like, a lot of the science characters that can heal aren't immune to poison, and so then their healing is blunted by the poison, and that's not cool. And, like, the fact that you're net negative at even 2 stacks on a rank 3 tells me that maybe the potency reduction could come up too. Oh, yes, he gets significantly more damage with Locked On. That's where you get the instant ruptures from the special 2. The special 1 inflicts an extra physical vulnerability debuff if you can line it up in Locked On as well, although special 1 into special 2 in a single Locked On is pretty difficult, which is maybe another reason to potentially look at his special 1. You might even want to change that condition. Yeah, it could be like, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that. It would be something I would look at. But then the special, or the lock-on also just increases his attack rating by up to 40%. Which is nice, but not quite enough. Because keep in mind, like, his special 2 also increases attack rating, and that doesn't get improved by the SIG, and those are additive, which means that, like, yeah. There's just a couple levers that are cannibalizing each other a little bit and some durations that aren't quite what they need to be. But he's very close to very good. Yeah, like, this is a rank 4 with decent health, and you're net neutral at 2 poisons. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, he's close for sure, TC, but I agree with you. I've always liked Sam's design. But he needs some help. No, he doesn't need any new utility. The game isn't zero-sum like that. He'd be fine. Okay. Leader here. Gen for the last one. And we should be good. So I did need to outright heal once. But it is doable to get through this. This was the big roster demand quest this month for sure, though. Got the special 3 in just before the Furies expired. Champion that made me fall in love with the game? I don't pick favorites, but I think from a timeline perspective, I do have an answer for this. It was probably Ultron's. I forget if it was his. No, I think it was his first kit, like as Ultron Prime. So pre-rework. He was one of my very first rank 4 stars. Him, pre-buff Magneto House of X, and Yellow Jacket. I think also pre-buff. Um, we had to walk uphill both ways in the old days. But Ultron being like basically my only immunities on my account and some of my only healing in the days when everybody else pretty much was running a queue with the perfect block teams because this was pre 12.0 and I didn't have those perfect block teams meant that I had to get really good really fast. Um and so Ultron was really kind of what leveled me up in the game. I figured out how to do the double healing and take advantage of recovery. I figured out how to line up the cauterize to deal damage. And he was still slower than pretty much everybody else, and I still died sometimes. But like, yeah, that was kind of the beginning of okay, I'm figuring out the depth here and I'm having fun. Similarly, when I went through like Acts 5 and 6, I did most of Act 5 with Hyperion, I think. Hyperion and Magic were kind of my clearing horses. Like, I remember taking that buffet masochism pre-nerf Magic, like on original release, with Hyperion. And I just brute forced it. I did a lot of those kinds of fights with Hype, just going to Special 3, waiting out my regen. Yeah, so Ultron and Hyperion are probably the two. In Act 6, I got through a lot of it with Claire, so she gets some credit as well. Yeah, those champions that made me like really eke out the advantages, and other people kind of didn't have to. It's actually one of the things that annoys me the most about a lot of complaints that you run into in the game. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. If you lose a Battlegrounds match, that stinks. That's not fun. If you feel like you lost because of your roster, that's very not fun. But when people complain that, like, PvE content, like story, is harder for them because they don't have the same rosters that other people do, I just don't have any pity. Like, because I didn't have the advantage, and I figured it out, and I was stronger for it. You can be too. Oh, I thought that would kill. There we go. Yeah, true potential. Yeah, I can understand that, John. When Venom the Duck works, he's fun. I haven't even played BGs in a week, Elijah. I should do a little bit of that. Okay, who are we? This is the Frank quest, right? So let's bring North Star. Yes. Big agree on that, Leroy. I'm a little bit ashamed that I forgot about Blade. Because, like, yes, Blade was broken in a lot of ways, blah, 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 blah. But, like, I didn't have the big Star-Lord team for Labyrinth of Legends. So when Labyrinth came out, I did my primary clears of Labyrinth and most of my exploration with Blade and Hyperion. And the things that you had to do to get through Labyrinth with those two characters as your primary clears make you level up. You do not have a choice. Okay. Only 2 pauses there is brutal. That's not what we were going for. There goes our cash out. That's fine. Let the crush expire. That was the worst pause luck I think I've ever had on a North Star Special one. Without some kind of crit protection, anyway. There we go. Yeah, I can understand that, Jorge. It's honestly one of the reasons that I don't really get why people get so twisted around about a lot of the balancing decisions, because so much of the most fun I've had in this game has been when I felt like I'm fighting uphill. And I don't know how to explain to people that that's special. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and finish this, but I do need to use the restroom, as we were talking about earlier. Stay hydrated, everybody. But yeah, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Probably Elijah. Yeah, I don't know about that either. I don't think there's going to be another big event. Definitely not like launch. That was something unique. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything exceptional. I'd probably just open them then. Yeah, I figure I might as well get this out of the way, clubs. Might actually play Battlegrounds at some point. We got incursions coming up. Okay, Cosmics with armor breaks. This one is going to be a little bit of a roster check. Maybe worse than the last one, maybe not. Make sure we have a non-metal for Magneto. No robots, so we'll have to be careful with Omega Red. Spider-Punk is a bit annoying. I might brute force that with somebody. I don't know. That's going to be obnoxious for sure. I think I'll save Thanos for Spider-Punk. Nobody else seems too bad. If it drops on Wednesday, I will be incredibly apologetic. And Mike will be apoplectic. Oh, I have no idea, Plobs. Yeah, that'll be fine, because Neferi is going to be annoying enough. We might as well. Atta boy, King Groot. I'm going to try and get through this without ever using somebody without an armor break, because that is the obvious ask. Oh no, no! That's specifically the thing I called out. Okay, well, this is gonna take a while. Jesus. That block damage. That's fine. A bunch of cosmics can heal. Nobody knows the God. That fight. He used Ronin yet? I'm sure he can cheese it, yeah. Ah! I overtrusted it. That's fine. That fight went okay. Okay, who's next? Omega Red. Okay. That's a good enough reason to use Angela. No! My eyes glazed for a split second, and bloop, light out of nowhere. Hmm. Oof. Sorry, Elijah. Yeah, I think incursions was probably the intent. The bounties are probably more of an exploit. Whether something is done about it, we'll see. Sorry, I know you don't want to hear that, Clobs. I do not think that was how that was supposed to go. Yeah, I hear you there, Leroy. But part of it was also my fault. I was thinking about potentially trying to rebuild the way Omega Red's distance stuff works. And I don't need to be thinking about work in the literal middle of a fight. I should have just gone there. I lost so much uptime there. Come on. Yes, Elijah, that is the point. Good choice of sound effects. Yeah, I understood you, Clubs. We'll see. I'm not on the team that makes those calls. Not that niche, Elijah. I'm jealous of that one. Doom with block proficiency or armor secondary. Maybe crit damage. Probably my most wanted out of this batch. What's my take on Gore's place in the meta? I think he's doing fine. Like, he's an attacker that's good sometimes. He can flood a lot of debuffs, which is pretty unique in Cosmic. His heal block immunity has some interactions that are helpful sometimes. He's a defender who's dangerous sometimes, but also has just like a boatload of answers and will continuously spawn more because he has so many buff triggers. He like reinforces everything else without really being a strong standout in any way, if that makes sense. He's very good for the overall game. Um, and I think that you can be rewarded for ranking him, but he's not super important. If that makes sense. Does energy penetration have an effect on champs with zero energy resistance? No. But a lot of the times, what slows down certain attackers is the characters that do have physical and energy resistance. So those kinds of effects can still be very powerful. Oh yeah, no, that was the one I wanted. Energy pen primary physical resist. Or physical pen secondary. Forgot that existed. I mean, Vox is better if you need permanent undermine, for sure. Vox is also several years younger and is a, like, wet pancake on defense. Like I said earlier, the game is not zero-sum. I don't think that comparing things directly like that is particularly useful unless you are literally just looking at which character am I bringing for this scary auto block fight. When you say something to do, Barbarian, do you mean like more paths of the higher difficulty? Or do you mean auto fight? Because I personally don't really consider auto fighting to be something to do. But I'm curious where you're coming from and just checking to see if we're on the same page or not. That was stupid. Don't know why I did it. Cool. 0 nullify triggers. We love that. He really said no regen for you. Alright. We're still live, right? Because my Chrome window still crashed, but it looks like OBS is still passing through. Okay. Just curious if any of that came through on y'all's end. The number of times this special one has clipped me. Yeah, I can do that. I hear you there, Barbarian. There needs to be something infinite to do other than Battlegrounds, doesn't there? And yeah, if you still have content to do, you absolutely should take a look at that. That's interesting, Swirly. Beautiful. That's why we bring Null. Thank you. Glad you picked up another one, Elijah. Okay, speaking of tabs earlier, this is my personal computer, so it's not quite the same, but I probably need to close some stuff in the background. Okay, 1, 2, 3 left. So we're allowed to pull out the big guns. I see off to the side somebody asked me, so I should take advantage of the chat and ask y'all. Does anyone have a particular How to Play Cassandra Nova video that they're fond of? That makes sense, Barbarian. Today years old when I realized Null can regen like that. In fairness, prowess and attack mods help a lot, Joey, but he's still quite good without them. Excuse me. Yeah, I think there's definitely something to that, Barbarian. You want to understand her triggers, but I don't think that she has a single set rotation the way that some people are talking about. I should have thrown this before the special. Yeah, I would have gotten the prowess too. I mean, I guess I can still get the prowess. Nope. Actually, I can hit your... I could hit your block, but I can't deal with your intercept if you decide to be rude that way, can I? Okay, that could have been better. That's good to hear, John. That's very good to hear. Oh, I'm not talking about how to fight Cassandra. Wait, but thanks. Okay, and what did we use for Dracula? Was it just Photon? I feel like it was just Photon. Yep. Dang it. I really have to stop going for that particular special one evade. So out of practice on his specials. I mean, they're tough in general, but... Nope, there it is again. Alright. I'll figure you out later, buddy. Yeah, it makes sense, Barbarian. Okay, that's all the rewards, you. Let me take a look at these offers and see if I want to buy some stat casts. One way or the other, we'll have something to open, so let me go look at that. Side note, I love all of the Paviter profile pictures so much. They're so good. This is so tempting. I just have to remind myself that I'm 83 full crystals away from her. Ah, these were specifically the old ones. So I don't know that those are actually going to get folded in, so I probably just go ahead and open these. And it's SIGs, so I'm not going to be upset if they're added to a base pool later. That's just something we're signing up for here. I was 27 away. I caved. Yeah. I'm about to do a rundown of the Titan Crystal here. The just how stupid it would be for me to open Titans going for her. You might be right, Clubs. It's kind of a dark way to look at it, but decently healthy in some ways. Okay, what am I looking at? Just stat casts. Wave 2 for sure. Cool, cool. I have no idea how I already had a red skull, but I will take the Doom. That is one of the better Doom ones. And the Heimdall. Oh, let me guess, Barbarian. You're afraid she's gonna get nerfed. Just do it anyway. There's no universe in which Carolina doesn't stay one of the best characters in the class. And she's very fun to play. Interesting, too. I had a red, 6-star Red Skull as well. I guess so. Of course, John. Then why are you scared? Okay, crit resist with a block pen. That is block pen, right? Yeah. Or no, that's armor pen. But it'll still affect block damage. That's a pretty nasty defensive cosmic relic. It might be worth putting on Dark Phoenix. That's almost certainly worth putting on Dark Phoenix. Okay. But first, let's take a look. Anything else we want to open right now? Yeah, you're right. You're right. The Grace Crystals I already opened. Thanks, Bobs. It's her playstyle? Interesting. You're just worried that she's going to run into the places where it's not. Oh, okay. As long as playstyles stay the same, I don't care. I think her damage could see some nerfs, and I would still like her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think anything's happening to her playstyle. And that's if something happens, which is not even close to a guarantee. I'm just pretty confident that, like, that's not the kind of thing the balanced team would want to mess with anyway. If the data shows she's doing too much damage, then she's doing too much damage, but, like, the kit is the kit. Which, I realize that that was just two truisms in a row, but... Yeah, I haven't seen a gold pool in a while. Let me guess, John. Glancing. Okay, I just gotta check in here. These crystals, is anybody else reading them in a Boston accent every single time? Because I'm absolutely seeing them as wicked smart. Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page there. Because for me, it's specifically Goodwill Hunting. It's Ben Affleck clapping Matt Damon on the shoulder and going, "My buddy, he is wicked smart." I love that movie. I hadn't been, but I won't be able to avoid it going forward. Yeah, that's fair. Apologies if it gets old. Oh, dang. Yeah, there's some good stuff on the store for this wave. All right. I'm going to be a little bit of a whale here. How had I never noticed that before? I guess I just haven't seen the Dragon Man crystal, but it's got the glasses. Some of you have heard me talk about this before, but in my mind, ever since reading the Future Foundation, the Hickman run, where Dragon Man has glasses is he's reading to the kids. I always hear him with John Cleese's voice as the gorilla from Tarzan every time. You're right, John. I almost corrected myself. That's okay. Thank you. Okay, so we are guaranteed 1/7. They do look the same, yeah. You just don't have the realm event juicing everything to the nines. Ooh. Are we sure that's a Juggernaut relic and not an Unstoppable Colossus relic? He looks rather slender. No, but this is a good first pull. Okay, we got one good Doom one. It just is Unstoppable Colossus. Okay, I'm gonna go look at the statue after this. I'd never noticed that before. Ooh, very cool. Alright, so we're definitely getting more defensive relics than offensive from this wave, but that's okay. Absolutely, Clobs. Yeah, it is 100% Unstoppable Colossus. Okay, then. It's kind of silly. Well, I guess he is the armor in the Mystic. That's fine. Alright, let's take these up. Don't I have a gem? Oh, it's probably for 6 stars, isn't it? Okay. That means... got some stuff. Alright, there's a paired relic in here somewhere. Oh, right, they're over in shards. We really need a relics tab for crystals at this point. There they are. Okay, we'll do this first. Do I have 2 of them? Hey, alright. Mystic, please. Or mutant. I meant mutant. Thank you. Do as I mean, not as I say. I think I have a ton of Mystic now, and I don't think I have a Mystic 7-star. No, I guess now I... Wait. What am I missing here? I don't have a duped Mystic 7-star. That's what was in my head. And I'm still missing the rank 2 Celestial Alloys, because we've almost not done that, right? Okay. Yeah, so there's not a lot I can do here. I think I'm probably saving that mutant, but I could probably take another Mystic up, like a battle cast. Yeah, I didn't think so either. Okay, I'd have to spend a fair bit to get them. Are they in the Radiant store? Yes. But yeah, I would have to go kind of hard. Like, that's 2, and I need 4. I'll go ahead and get 2, because 4 is kind of the price point when things pop up. And I'll lock that in, and I will come back to this later. Alright. I'm not sure there's a whole lot to do right now, then, but I can redistribute my cosmics a little bit. Ooh, and I guess this can go up. That's a good one. Ah, there's the gems. Yeah, 6-star relic gems, I feel like are extra valuable right now because they're kind of in that place where 6-star rank up gems were for a while after 7 stars champions came out. Because you didn't want to use the precious catalysts on 7 stars, right? And I feel kind of the same way. There's certain alloys that I would prefer not to use on 6-star relics if I can get away with it. So these gems are nice. On that note, yeah, let's go ahead and take this up. Yeah, I'm out of glory for the moment, but I will definitely be devoting some more to it next week. Technically, John, Gladiator's loot changed a bit, but for the most part, you're correct. It's not something that we go after, really. Okay, and we're just going to leave that there. Do I have a defender that I want to put that relic on? Sasquatch these days is almost more of an attacker, so I'm not jumping at that. That relic still makes sense on Kindred. I could probably swap the Wolf relic. Oh no, the Enchantress relic. Like, often people are going to use energy against her, but just blunting the hits, this is probably the way to go. Sorry, I know this is riveting. Science doesn't really interact with armor. It doesn't, but a lot of science characters do still care about their hits, right? So like this armor relic would dramatically slow down somebody like Deathless She-Hulk. Like, this isn't gonna stop Spider-Punk, um, etc., etc. But it's still pretty decent. Okay, I was gonna move. Oh no, wait, that's the Hulkling one on her. Okay, who do I want to put the Terrax relic on then? Maybe Null, actually. Oh, or Maestro. That makes sense on Maestro. Okay. Glory Store just reset? Yeah, when my rewards come in, I'll happily go there. Just a little bit short on that at the moment. Oh, hey, Dre, I didn't see you up there. Ah, I get you, TC. So it was kind of like, yeah, there are science champions who get around armor, but your point was there are also aren't really science champions that stop the armor if it is causing a problem for them, and that's true. Okay, I'm gonna take another look at my 7 stars real quick. I don't have the the mutant equipped, but like I think I'm good with my defensive mutants at the moment. I could probably put it on Sauron, but I don't throw him on defense that much. I could put it on Dust, but Gambit is very nice for her offensively. Hmm. I could definitely trade that out. I think the rest of these are good for now. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on them. It's nice just having some flexibility and freedom in relics these days. While I'm here, how much duration would a 7-star rank 2 Karnak relic add to Okoye's debuffs? That's a good question and depends on stat focus and masteries and a bunch of other stuff, so I am going to decline to try and figure it out. Probably not that much, given the other things that are already helping her. But I'm curious to see somebody measure that at some point. Okay. People have been leaving because I've been winding down, and that's okay. Let's check and see if anybody else is streaming at the moment, because I am definitely done. Doesn't look like it. All right. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out. This was a good time. I'm gonna try and actually put out some videos, both members and non-members. But yeah, we'll come back to y'all soon. Um, yeah, have a good one. If it's still a holiday for you, enjoy the holiday. If not, may your Monday be lightweight, shall we say. Black Panther for Patriot for sure, TC. All right, take care, everybody.